You are now about to begin taking your Unit 5 test. Please follow along as each question and answer choices are read aloud. Please show complete work in your packet to get full credit. Do your best. Question 1. Which of the following graphs show a linear relationship? A, B, C, or D? Question 2. Which of the following is a true statement about the mean absolute deviation of a set of data? F. It describes the variation of the data values around the median. G. It describes the absolute value of the mean. H. It describes the average distance between each data value and the mean. J. It describes the variation of the data values around the mode. Question 3. Below is a scatter plot that shows Joyce's training runs as she prepares to run a 6-mile race at the end of the month. Draw a trend line that would approximate this data. Which of the following would be a reasonable approximation for the length of time it would for her to run 6 miles? A. 50 minutes. B. 80 minutes. C. 45 minutes. D. 60 minutes. Question 4. The scatter plot below shows the relationship between the number of chapters and the total number of pages for several books. Use the trend line to predict how many chapters would be in a book with 200 pages. F. 20. G. 10. H. 1000. J. 2000. Question 5. Below is a scatter plot that shows the relationship between the number of words typed per minute x and the number of letters typed incorrectly y. Based on the data, what would be a reasonable approximation for the number of letters missed if you were typing 70 words per minute? A. 170. B. 24. C. 18. D. 55. Question 6. As a part of a research project, a researcher made a table of test scores and the number of hours of sleep a person got the night before the test. Make a scatter plot of the data. Which statement best describes the data? F. The data shows a positive association between the hours of sleep and test scores. G. The data shows a negative association between the hours of sleep and test scores. H. The data shows no association between the hours of sleep and test scores. J. The association between the hours of sleep and test scores cannot be determined. Question 7. Martin and Daisy are arguing about which graph below represents a linear relationship. Graph A, Graph B. Martin believes Graph A represents a linear relationship, but Daisy thinks it is Graph B. Which of the following statements explain who is correct and why? A. Martin is correct because Graph A has a pattern to it and could be used to make predictions. B. Daisy is correct because you could draw a linear trend line that would approximate the points on the graph. C. Daisy is correct because graph B has a negative association and all graphs with a negative association are linear. D. Martin and Daisy are both correct. Graph A and graph B represent a linear relationship. E. Martin and Daisy are both incorrect. Neither graph A nor B represent a linear relationship. Question 8. The table shows the prices for parking at various beaches along the same coastline. What would represent the mean absolute deviation for the set of data? F. 3 and 3/10. G. 66 hundredths. H. 2 and 55 hundredths. J. 12 and 75 hundredths. Show your work below. Question 9. Patty works in the school library. She made this bar graph to show the number of books she checked out during one school week. Which of the following statements is best supported by the graph? 1. Thursday is the day the fewest students check out library books. 2. On Tuesday and Wednesday, there were a total of 250 books checked out. 3. There were a total of 550 books checked out. A. 1 and 3 only. B. 1 and 2 only. C. 1, 2, and 3. D. 2 and 3 only. Question 10. The table below shows the quarts of strawberries left to pick in a garden. Based on the information in the table, when would you expect there to be no quarts of strawberries left to pick? F. About 15 hours. G. About 25 hours. H. About 20 hours. G. About 10 hours. Question 11. The circle graph below shows the percentages of different kinds of animals in a pet store. If there are 250 animals in the pet store, about how many more birds are there than fish? Show your work below. Question 12. The table below shows the maximum speeds of 10 roller coasters at an amusement park. Find the mean absolute deviation of the set of data. Show your work below. Question 13. Coach Lee noticed that the number of baskets his players were making had declined during practice. He feels as if the reason for this decline is that his players are not getting enough sleep the night before practice. Coach Lee collects the following data for the 10 players on this team. A. Construct a scatter plot to represent the data. B. Is Coach Lee correct? Does the number of hours slept and the number of baskets made have a relationship? Describe the relationship. C. Use a trend line to determine approximately how many baskets you would score on 12 hours of sleep. Round your answer to the nearest whole number. D. What is the association of the line? E. Is it linear? You have now reached the end of this recording. Please feel free to rewind this recording back to any point or any of the questions you need to work on. Good luck on your test and have a great day.